Hey everybody, this is the Golden Nugget Gamer, and I'm here to tell you 5 reasons why Mass Effect the Legendary Edition is great. The original series of Mass Effect spanned 3 games which were released in 2007, 2010, and 2012. However, there was a remaster of all 3 games called the Legendary Edition, which is what I have been playing recently. I have thought up 5 reasons why Mass Effect Legendary Edition is great, and I will tell you these reasons one by one. I have put a disclaimer here though, being that I don't talk about things that I don't like about games, because I'm trying to show you the positive sides of the games that I play. If you're looking for input or criticism on a game, there are plenty of channels out there. What I want to do is dive deeper into why I like the games that I like and try and explain it in terms of philosophy and deeper meaning. I think it's important to think about why you like a game so you can identify the things that appeal to you. If I don't show you reasons on newer games I play, just means that I haven't seen the positive sides yet. I also don't play newer games much since I like to get a complete experience on the games, which means most of the time I will have to wait for years until all expansions and DLC has come out for a set game. This also gives developers a chance to better their game for their audience. I believe in giving people a chance to show you what their best looks like. The moment when you see the ideas rise above everything and create something beautiful for the gaming market. First reason why I like Mass Effect: world building. The world offers a rich story and world building around unique alien races. The races consist of Krogan, Asari, Turian, Kunari, Drell, Ragni, Hanar, Volus, and many others. Each race has their unique characteristics and a way that they operate inside of the universe of Mass Effect, which gives them a unique perspective on how you are seeing the universe when you talk to them, when you hear about their story, when you see what they can do and what they specialize in and how their society looks. When we talk about what happened in the past of Mass Effect, it has a very big relevance to the story and how races perceive other races. For instance, the Krogans were used to fight the Ragni in the Ragni Wars. However, once the Ragni Wars were over and the Ragni was almost hunted to extinction, the other council races grew weary of the Krogan since they were very good at combat and war. And so they devised a plan to create a genophage, or a genetic virus that reduced their fertility down, which meant 1 in 1,000 were born alive. Essentially, this cut the Krogan population down very fast, and they started dying out very fast. The race who had the biggest hand in the genophage were the Solarians, a group of other aliens that consists of mostly scientists and very quick thinking individuals. They are also good scouts and spies since they have a renowned group of scouts called the STG. They live very short lives compared to the Krogan, which also means they have to replenish their numbers very fast. Then we have the Asari, which is one of the oldest races in this cycle of life in the universe. They are an all-female species race that can meld with other species, taking on their traits to create other Asari. In fact, one of the reasons that they're so successful in diplomatic affairs is because they have a much higher ability to negotiate with other races and take what they need from them. The Asari is also one of the races that live the longest. They have a lifespan of about 1,000 years, which means they will long outlive most other races in the galaxy. Then we have the Turians, which is a lot like humanity in Mass Effect. They are a more militarized culture. They are good at expanding, they are good at military discipline. They're also the ones who fought the humans first when they discovered the Mass Effect relay, which was called the First Contact War. Turians are highly disciplined and serve as soldiers in fleets of Turian ships to protect the universe. They are often the race that is called when frontline fight is coming. Turians live about 150 years, so they share close lifespans with humans in Mass Effect. Humans are what you can expect in the universe. They are fast expanders, often trying to colonize systems much faster than the other race of aliens. Other aliens don't like humans because they feel they are intrusive. The Quarians are a race of aliens that made a synthetic life form known as the Geth, and they have tried wiping them out but were defeated. They fled their homeworld and now travel in a migrant fleet. Quarians have bad immune systems and have to be born in ports or they will die. They go on pilgrimages outside of the fleet and gather resources for the fleet. They are efficient and skilled engineers. They are often seen as a nuisance because they don't have a strong presence anywhere in the Mass Effect universe. Geth are a machine race that they work as a hive mind. They have trouble with organics because of their history with the Quarians, and so they kill most of organics that enter the territory. They also work with the Reapers which is another synthetic race. Other aliens include the Drell, the Volus, the Elcor, and the Hanar. They all have different cultures and can be explored by talking to individuals of said race, although Drell are very rare in Mass Effect. One of the reasons I like Mass Effect so much is because they are so good at building an iconic world that just speaks to you. They incorporate humanity into this universe almost flawlessly. You get to see genetic traits of each and every species and how they operate. You also get to see some truly iconic settings that you won't get in any other. The world building in Mass Effect is sublime because it gives you a realistic view of what and how humanity would interact with other races. Like we started out with the war with the Turians as soon as we found the mass relays in Mass Effect. And this is also why Turians are not particularly fond of humanity, because of the First Contact War. Most of the conversations that you have with the other races and with people of humanity on, for instance, the Citadel station shows you where priorities lie on each and every one of the races. It gives you history of the races, which is just very unique in a sense and also very, very beautiful. Here is the second reason why I enjoy Mass Effect. Different styles of the classes. There are different styles of gameplay in Mass Effect compared to the difficulty and temperament of the player. Abilities are basically divided into three categories, which are biotic, tech, and weapon abilities. Some abilities are direct counters to defensive enemies and therefore a good thing to take with you on specific missions. The defensive classes include Engineer, Sentinel, and Adapt that generally stay in cover with range and try to manage the enemies that they meet from afar. Soldier and Infiltrator are classes that use weapons to defeat their foes, both from a defensive position and can also be aggressive when the situation calls for it. Infiltrator can move around in stealth if they get into the right spot and get more damage on a shot from invisibility. Soldiers are more straightforward, being able to slow down time and soak up a lot of damage. The last class is the most aggressive, but also the most risky class, and that is the Vanguard. Vanguard can use biotic charge and move around the battlefield and deal a lot of damage at close range. They also recharge the shields as they charge, but if you do it in the wrong direction, you might get shot down immediately. There are styles of play for most players that can satisfy you and make more playthroughs if you so wish. I would say picking the right style from the beginning that suits you best would be recommended because you will be playing or you can switch classes with each Mass Effect game if you so choose. But generally, if you stick to the same class, try and pick a class that suits your playstyle. Earlier, I mentioned that some abilities counter defensive abilities or shields of your enemies. For instance, if you're looking at an adept or someone who can use biotic abilities, they are generally better at dealing with enemies that use barriers instead of shields. Whereas if you're using tech abilities, those companions and your main character would be better at dealing with people that have shields. And of course, we have the weapon specialists that are great at taking down enemies once their shields are gone. They mostly focus on dealing a lot of damage once the shields are gone, but can also take away the shields. The class I enjoyed the most in Mass Effect was the Vanguard, because it's also the most aggressive and it is a riskier gameplay, but I died a lot. And you have to be ready to be careful, even though you can be very, very aggressive. Here is the third reason why I like Mass Effect. Clear morality choices. I feel when we're talking about choices in the video games today, there are a lot of gray in the games which makes morality very blurry. Mass Effect, however, is very straightforward when it comes to Shepard himself. If you're playing Paragon, you help everyone you come into contact with. Try diplomacy even against enemies that clearly do not deserve mercy. You are basically a mix of Space Jesus and Space John Wayne. If you, however, chose to play Renegade, you will still save the universe, but you will be a douchebag all the time. Morally great choices in games can be something you want from your games, but the opposite can also be true. The game generally doesn't surprise you when it comes to choices. The outcomes of your dialogue are also pretty predictable. The morally gray situation comes more from the outcome of the entire story. If you want to play a game with not a lot of great choices, this is the game for you. I would propose a Paragon and a Renegade playthrough to see most of the game and the ultimate consequences of your choices. The fourth reason why I like Mass Effect is the setting. The Mass Effect universe is unique both in architecture and terrain. The way they made Mass Effect really showed the iconic scenery of places like the Citadel, Omega, and of course planets of different races. The only alien planets you don't get to visit are Turian and Solarian planets. You do go to a moon base of Turians but never actually get to their homeworld Palavan. Likewise, you also never get to see the Solarian homeworld, which is a shame. But the setting is iconic even to this day, and nothing has been made quite like it. The Citadel is a iconic location in Mass Effect which house all of the Council races and many other alien races. It acts as a diplomacy center between all races, and it shows in a way people act around the place. It has the vibe of many embassies in one space station, a place filled with dignitaries of all races that discuss their races in a bigger geo and demographic terms. Later in Mass Effect 2, you get to access a station in the Terminus system called Omega Station, which house the more seedier elements of Mass Effect. Here you also meet a lot of gangs, bounty hunters, and mercenaries. You also get to visit the Krogan homeworld, which looks like a bombed out crater where only the toughest of all races, the Krogan, could live. Nuclear radiation wasteland and ruins everywhere in the Krogan homeworld of Tuchanka. You also visit several stations and facilities with futuristic design. Everything is designed very simplistic but also very elegant. Here is the fifth reason why I think Mass Effect is great. BioWare companions. Old BioWare is famous for creating narrative stories around companions that are both compelling and emotional. The stories take you through a lot of their race history, and they work as a vehicle to explain the circumstances and story development of Mass Effect. How you interact with your companions ripple out into the story, and completing their loyalty quests will often give you a perspective on their struggles in the universe. Companions in Mass Effect also change according to the choices you make over each game. Some companions might not make it at all, and this will have an effect going from the story and forward. BioWare companions stand out for their exceptional character development, making players care deeply about their relationships and fates. Each companion has a unique personality, backstory, and motivations which are expertly woven into the game's narrative. This attention to detail creates a sense of authenticity, allowing players to form strong bonds with their party members. Companions often exist in a gray moral area, making them more relatable and human. They may have conflicting loyalties, personal demons, and questionable past, which adds depth to their character and player interactions with them. This complexity encourages players to think critically about their relationship and the consequences of their choices. Many BioWare companions have personalized quests and loyalty missions which provide a deeper understanding of their characters and struggles. These missions often involve difficult choices, emotional revelations, and poignant conclusions, further solidifying the player's connection to said companion. BioWare companions are known for their witty dialogue and engaging banter, which adds humor, charm, and personality to the game. These interactions can be hilarious, heartwarming, or even poignant, making the companions feel more like real people. BioWare companions can significantly impact the game's story and outcome depending on the player's relationships and choices. This dynamic storytelling creates a sense of agency and investment, as players must consider the consequences of their actions and the fate of their companions. Earlier, I talked about how Mass Effect in general have very clear moral choices when it comes to the main character Shepard. But with companions, they go through a significant change throughout the game. For instance, Garrus, a Turian CSEC officer who likes to take justice into his own hands or have a sense of moral justice that not a lot of people can live up to. And when it doesn't work out for him, he becomes a hunter of mercenaries or gangs on Omega and start killing a bunch of these gang members to reduce the population and decrease the harm that they do to regular people. Further down the line, he gets hurt and he starts to realize that he has been too direct in the way he deals with situation. He starts to learn from Shepard as the main character and starts thinking about his decisions and how he could have done them better. This shows that a single character in the game has significant growth over all three of the titles, and this is the case for each and every companion that you meet in Mass Effect. They all have their own goals, they all have their own moral codes that differs from yours significantly, which is also what give a Mass Effect story a huge complexity, even though the choices of Shepard himself actually can seem very simple compared to his companions. Hey everybody, if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more of this material, I would like you to like and subscribe. If you also have comments on what you like about Mass Effect or don't like, then please comment in the comment section below. I appreciate all feedback and I will see you next time.